My falling into dark, falling, darkening and unwelcoming, smiles, falling and annoying. There's a place for the living. There's so many moments as contribute to how be deciding your mind. Come on, becoming internally free. Witnessing moments, my eyes caress. It's just a matter of time when I reach, quest, your memories fall. My mind still waiting. Wish I could play full, comfortably numb the city. I was just exploring, more for the morning greeting. Sign your tune for the rise to greet you in the sunbeam. Up on your face and open, may the magic in your coffee wake you another beautiful May. It must be a song in your heart, with a grin upon your lips and a love inside your soul. As you or smile wherever you go, I can't despair. There's not a moment to compare. There's a bridge to cross. It was astounding for how witty you were, for the brisk with the breeze we blew over that bridge in the chilly dawn. Raw for no restful sleep that night, for the loneliness to play their listless lives, and it was like a chance to the strangers to meet. What it is an attraction to find something else. What made them smile unexpectedly was only to do for the long trek into towards the distance of the finish line. Who really knew what I had to try? It was a verse of the rhyme. It was a form of poetry. You cannot take it later. It was a powerful mind when the angels replied. It was deciding a faith for the genuine proof of the miracles do exist, and I had so many for the favorites on my list, for the informing of what was to be able to conceive of the when you had to hardly to believe in that way was born perfect. But you, me, the weak, for the figures until they find to speak. I tell you from the heart, for the miracles have been the Father, for the prayers. The angels would reply, making you feel like you are blue. Butterflies, wings, sway, shoes, dance for the night, moon bronze, your rainbow, spectrum of blue, eyes low, when they're laughing at you, like a periwinkle for the violet, forget me for the bluebell, for the eye can beat the ocean, raft, sailboat, higher, a sapphire, to better, dolphin, use your purpose, your porpoise, wine, singing the blues. When you're down in the mouth of the blue and the mood in your spirits go south, say, cheese, smile, run up your tab and the who's freaking your leak in your coat to cove terribly bold. You get something in the blue for this weather with the beaming songs of the moon. Working in order for the you not to be soon, then with the blood is shed, I'm with a noble within your silver spoon and in lining.
I don't need nobody to rescue me or help me see the way you truly believe me. But I do need somebody to help me say.
So hard to lose and stand the day. Hard to bear, but I cannot share. I never will give you my heart. It will be the love of the birth of the sun, with a baby face without a translation. To find a version for the it was a beautiful voice. Or forgive me not, since you can have that now. For the this was the care, not for the forgive me not. Using the plastic flowers and the fading of a benefit for the you to be fitting. Nothing but the benefit to yourself. Not even then. For this will not be the simple way to argue with you for the understanding that you can make it. And the manipulative for the nature, for the violation of its own laws, for the river could happen every every day for the you have been one, for the wily, for the awesome, for the find yourself, for the defensive way, for the looking around the wondering of the world, for the conceiving of the great mind yourself, for the fine. It will make you drive you crazy, for the cruel, for the punishment, for the worn out, for the uncoming to the altar, and you can find too late. Never not be for the coming to the Father, for the unthinkable Father we be, for the this is the only wanted to be, and if you wanted to change, if you wanted to rearrange at the cross for the founder, the deadly, for this is the coming to, nothing for the understanding of what you've been. I would not argue with you, but that is mine, adrenaline for the heart with the compassions, and I'm all for the deep end, all for the deep, but not for the platter, for the honey, for the later, but enough for the dream, for I could be happily get enough of the ever after, for the living, not such enough of the feet, for the steed, for the little creature, the running on top of the roof, with the weight. They decided to leave, really lose that ladder for the step, for the sound drop. The power surge up, but perhaps if the maybe the raindrops will find the sense to ever be insane enough to there's the false inside of the house that I'm sneaking for the is the ladder. Wishing and washing and massaging yourself with the muse and get it rubber for the under the center, the dripping, the jump, the pattern for the clicking you down with a good night. He would find that fight for the was the fight for life. It was the sacrifice that you would make to only make it right. It was the going home for the lost, for the robbed the tomorrow, for the robbed the day, for the doom. You could be the soldier. Whatever was told about for the womb, and that was the only tomorrow with the tomb. You find a politician to be hated on because it is telling the truth. It's not but a part of your jurisdiction. Your solicitation is only the meeting of life for the half of the love of the affection that you can give for the endorsing. Naturally opening up with the light for the radiant that you can find the moon. Tune is in lunacy as you may be, as it hides behind the sun of the dimensions, and you can be the same yourself for the equality, for the understanding that you will never be. Respecting of the name, for this is not to be in vain, for my pleasure and pains and everything that was lost in the certified and true for the belongs to me, for the belongs not to you, for the needed, for the sign, for the change that must not go to the bottom line, for the handles of what you could acquire, the friendliness or the derogatory, the day for the different places you could find yourself, for the qualification of a decision you could find, and the benefit of the wife, not to be used for the darling, for the lover, or the confidence of a sweetheart. Not for the title, for the only the treasure, but only because of my children, for the name. Of course, you could be over with the only name for granted, for the special part that not you are. The remnants, and what you have nothing else in one to do with, and the recalling of what you really are. Also hard to lose and stand the bear. Hard to bear, for that I cannot share. I never will give you my heart. It will be the love of the birth of the son, with a baby face, for that translation, to find a version for the it was the beautiful words. Forgive me not, and you can have that now. For the this would be the care not for the forgive me not blues and the plastic flowers and your fading of a benefit for the yoke befitting. Nothing but the benefit of yourself. Not even then, for this will not be the simple way to argue. Starlight, 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 star bright. You made my sky turn bright. I was that golden rose. You were the chromatic poem. You were the white noise. Slept on the seat of the hill, just like a flower fed the light. Listening to the view, self-gained against the will. Exile unknown, fragile is in the same world, but nobody dances, sings, and people don't know the stars at midnight. Come along with that song for the only sound supreme ways of joy. For you not to have that temperament, for this is the bettering, the spreading of the wings and not the burning. For this and be for the bees, and now is now, and then it's only the past. Become that, for this is the wondering, and not to be happening inside of your life, for the cause of your heart. The honey and the hives will always be. Take a polygraph or pollinate. I love that gas more than a free person. This is not that constant, this is you can give. And this is 1,000 for the remembering. Over the heavenly leap. Because the weather is have the self-enjoy and the soul self for the past. Where you been for the yelling? Where you been for the missing the soul? Only the reason why I can know. You were gassed out for the gaslight. When it was a light to shine for the journey of the heart. It was not the mind that can find a place for the unlocking of the soul, but the key to liberate the journey of thy self and mind. And now when I find that exercising your field, I am more than terrified then. Your snakes are climbing in and out for your cobras and bulls. Snakes and timber with the rattling is over the top like a giant oak tree. You stare at that with a slit, laughing at the fear, for the sneering, at the confrontation, for the stop, to the breathing, for the realizing you climb as high as I do. I am more terrified than I'm surprised, feeling more threatened than amused. A giant bull snake drops to 12 feet into the landing of the square of my neck for the bite me, for the I was forgotten, for the cold-blooded as they were. You'll scream the longest from the now, for the danger scream, for the walking to the rest and what you can work on, whether now you're sleeping with the one eye open. It'll be for the regret. Even as charming as one for the paternal love could be, for this is not the teacher for the talking of the heart. We're not the taking either, for there was all that law, for this is not to be romantic, for the pumping your veins and the nuts, and sweet nothings with the heights, for the frightening, for the heart, for only the talking the heart speaks. And this would be simple enough as defining it, the infliction of the guilt upon yourself. You are not that, for the love of God, for you don't love God or yourself. You will stand against that alteration, for this love of was it really could be for the loyalty. You'll lean, it's not that, for the understanding that you coming clean, for there you can trust no one. Every time I see that, feel happy-go-lucky, you could be walking for the keening, for the subtle, for the pretending, for the purity, to be happy, for the wearing of a plastic Barbie smell, for the perpetual, for the wearing that mask in the firmly place attached to your seeming glue. I realize that I can never see you for the trust no one, for the too late for that, for the it can be saddened to me as it is, for the fully understanding that I am wearing my own. Firmly affixed for the holding members in the place that I will never share, for the keening also.
Responsibilities that you can calculate. It was the place, it was the age, it was the choices. It was the mirrors could need to be mad for the lunar eclipse, for you to be looming in the dark. Full of a bull, full of the understanding of what you can hear, the straining, the sound of you following. Some mishaps.
Some mishaps. Second for the reason for the I, then and now. Some mishaps. Second for the reason for the I, then and now. For not new for the it was there for the misfits. Some mishaps. Some mishaps. Second for the reason for the I, then and now. For not new for the it was there for the miss for the slight. Only for the confusion of it. Hair for the gracious. Some mishaps. Some mishaps. Second for the reason for the I, then and now. For not new for the it was there for the miss for the slight. Only for the confusion of it. Hair for the gracious, smile for the pause. You'll break a while for the wandering of a cloud. Blown skies not to recall the beauty in the eyes and the walking in the woods. June for the green, feel for the summer in the bloom. Didn't I think of how you were walking to the music of when you talking to the sunlight among the flowers. Now strolling along the field for the hours of forgetting once we have that beauty within heart. So grown, so springtimes. I've seen all them summers I've known. But they cannot be the cautionaries. For example, you have no You would be that haiku. You would be the syllables that it take to be generous enough to be the recommendation to prove whether you could believe it or not, for you would be the symbol. Melody upon this verse. This is just a chorus line. I don't suppose anything by it. You could be the spring voice, sweet and true as that spirit. She give away the ride that earth to the voices that through the clouds of the cotton drifting through the skies, visible enough for the gale for the shaking, for the little blossom with the flowers away. Your spirit with the kisses that open the petals so soft with the tender for the leaping, to search her light, her ring to the rippling brook. I hear that song for the shaking in the tree. She shall bring the shell along with the warm skates on the cheek. I read about that spring, and this is the time for the find that holiday for this is to be the spending of a moochie. clutching, encouraging enough for not to be the off course and discourse, or listen to spread the wings and understanding the wind, the breeze to find the new beginnings and they're not gonna quit. Flying up above for the moving of the love, for the rising above the star, for the reaching of the Mars. To now new horizons where the fight is rising, risen for the spreading of the wings and the mind.
Some mishaps.
Some mishaps. Her. Sinking for the reason for the I. Then and now for not new.
Some mishaps. Some mishaps. Her. Second for the reason for the I. Then and now for not new, for the it was there for the miss, for the slight. Only for the confusion of the hair, for the gracious smile, for the pause. You'll break a while for the wandering of a cloud. Blown skies, not to recall the beauty in the eyes and the walking in the woods. June for the green, feel for the summer in the bloom. Did not think of how you were walking to the music of when you talking to the sunlight among the flowers. Now strolling along the field for the hours of forgetting once we had that beauty within heart. So grown, so springtimes. I've seen all them summers I've known, but they cannot be the cautionaries. For example, you have no order. You would be that haiku. You would be the syllables that it take to be generous enough to be the recommendation of whether you could believe it or not. For you would be the simple melody upon this verse. This is just a chorus line. I don't suppose anything by it. You could be the spring voice, sweet and true as that spirit. She give away the ride that earth, the voice through the clouds of the cotton, drifting through the skies, visible enough for the gale, for the shaking, for the little blossom with the flower to wake. Your spirit with the kisses, the open the petals so soft, with the tender for the leafing, the search her light, her rings to the rippling brook. I hear that song for the shaking in the tree. She shall bring the shell along with the warm kiss on the cheek. I wrote about that spring, and this is the time for the find out holiday for this is to be the spending of a mooching, clutching, encouraging enough for not to be the off course and discourse, or listen to spread the wings and understanding the wind, the breeze to find the new beginnings and they're not gonna quit. Flying up above for the moving of the love, for the rising above the star, for the reaching of the Mars. To now new horizons where the fight is rising, risen for the spreading.
Some mishaps.
Also hard to lose and stand the bear. Hard to bear for that I cannot share. I never will. Also hard to lose and also hard to lose and stand the bear. Hard to bear for that I cannot share. I never will give you my heart. It will be the love with the birth of the sun, with a baby face without a translation to find a version for the it was the beautiful words. Or forgive me not, and you can have that not. For the this would be the care, not for the forgive me not blues and the plastic flowers and your fading of a benefit for the yo be fitting. Nothing but the benefit of yourself, not even then. For this will not be the simple way to argue with you for the understanding that you can make it. And the little for the nature, for the violation of its own loss, for the river can happen every day, for the you have been one, for the wily, for the awesomeness, to find yourself, for the defensive way, for the looking around, the wondering of the world, for the conceiving of the great mind, yourself, for the fine. It will make you, drive you crazy, for the cruelty, for the punishment, for the worn out, for the uncoming to the altar, and which you can find too late. Never not be for the coming to the Father, for the unthinkable follow we be, for the this is the only wanted to be. And if you wanted to change, if you want to rearrange the cross for the founder, the daddy for this is the coming to. Nothing for the understanding of what you've been. I would not argue with you. But that is my adrenaline for the heart, with the compassions. And and I'm off for the deep end. Off for the deep, but not for the patter, for the only bit of be later, but enough for the dream, for that I could be happily enough for the ever after, for the but not such enough for the feet, for the steep, for the little creature they're running on top of the roof, and this way they decided to either lose that ladder for the step, for the sound drops, for the pop surge up, or perhaps or maybe the raindrops will find a sensitive will ever be saying enough to theirs.
Also hard to lose in Stanley Bear. Hard to bear, for that I cannot share. I never will give you my heart. It will be the love for the birth of a son, with a baby face for that with translation. Defend and find that version for the it was the beautiful verse. Or forgive me nots, and you can have that now. For the this would be the care not for the forgive me not blues and the plastic floppers and your fading of a benefit for the yo befitting. Nothing but the benefit to yourself. Not even then. For this will not be the simple way to argue with you for the understanding that you can make it. And then with the little for the nature, for the violation of its own loss, for the real couldn't happen every day, for the you have been one, for the wily, for the awesomeness of find itself, for the defensive way, for the looking around, the wondering of the world, for the conceiving of a great mind, yourself with the fine. It will make you drive you crazy, for the cruel, for the punishment, for the worn out, for the upcoming to the altar, and which you can find too late. That would not be for the coming to the Father, for the follow me, for the this is the only wanted to be. And if you wanted to change, if you wanted to rearrange the cross and the fountain, the deadly for this is the coming to. Nothing for the understanding of what you've been. I would not argue with you. But that is my adrenaline for the heart with the compassions. And I'm off at the deep end. Off at the deep, but not for the platter, for the only bit of be later, but enough for the dream, for I could be happily enough for the ever after, for the dip, but not such enough for the feet, for the steep, for the little creature they're running on top of the roof, and this way they decided to either lose that ladder for the step, for the sound drops, for the pop surge up, or perhaps or maybe the raindrops will find a sense it will ever be saying, and that there's the false inside of the house that I was thinking for the essence of the ladder. And wishing and watching and massaging yourself for the muse, and get it rubber for the understanding, the dripping and the dropping, the patter for the clicking you down with a good night. It would find that fright for the it was the frightful night. It was the sacrifice that you were made to only make it right. It was the going home for the loss, for the about tomorrow, for the about the day, for the doom, for the you could be the soldier. What the what was told about for the boom, and this was the only tomorrow with the tomb you could find of a politician. To be hated on because of the telling the truth. It's not a part of your jurisdiction, your solicitation. It's only the meeting of life for the half of the love and the affection that you can give for the endorsing, naturally opening up with the light of the radiance that you can find the moon. And tuners and lunacy as you may be, once it hides behind the sun for the dimensions, and you can be the same yourself for the equality, for the understanding that you would never be. Respecting of the name, for this is not to be in vain, for my pleasure and pains and everything that was lost in the certified the truth, for the belongs to me, for it belongs not to you, for the need for the sign for the change that must not go to the bottom line for the habits of what you acquired, the friendliness or the derogatory, the day for the different places you can find yourself, for the qualification of it is such as you can find in the benefit of the wife, not to be used for the darling, for the lover, or the confidence of the sweetheart, not for the title, for the only the treasure, but only because of my children, for the name of course you can be girl, for the only name for granted, for the special part that not you are, the remnants, and what you have nothing else and wanted to do with it, the recalling of what you really are.